Natalie and Zeus got one more time to give us a filler episode and keep playing in my face before I completely stop watching this whole show. So we start off this episode like we start off every episode, except this time we were left on a cliffhanger for a fight I really don't care about. We get to Fauna knocking the sonic rings out of Summer, and I really expected more from this fight. Afterward, I don't know if Fauna slipped or what's going on, but Summer keeping up with you girls, I'm not feeling that. Summer can't even really fight, so the fact that she be keeping up with y'all be blowing my mind. After that, we get into this argument about who started what's first. In my opinion, I think that Fauna was wrong. I think in this one situation, Fauna shouldn't have threw the fan. Regardless to what Lex was saying, and Lex took ownership and said, hey, I was the one that was popping it on the mic. At the end of the day, Ivory was doing that a couple of episodes, like what, 1 or 2 episodes ago with Dolly, when Dolly's hand was messed up. And even when Ivory put her hands on Dolly in the club, they still blamed Dolly instead of Ivory. So I feel like Lex should be able to pop her shit too. And if you really go back to the episode, Natalie started that when she gave the mic to Scotty. This whole conversation to me is very much stupid. I don't feel like there was a winner in that fight. If I did have to pick a winner, I would say Fauna. But Summer kind of was keeping up with her, and that makes me uncomfortable. During this fight, poor Choco got splashed in the eyes with some alcohol. Somebody needs to get Choco like an eye guard or something like that, an eye mask, something, because her eyes are just always messed up. I feel like Choco should just go back home and just take a rest. I almost forgot she was on this episode. Natalie is up here acting like she don't know what happened, like she always does. She's sitting up here acting like she don't know who threw the drink first, like she wasn't standing right there. But they keep going back and forth about who threw the drink first, who was provoking it first, and Rolly calls out Lex and basically says, hey, you were provoking her, and therefore kind of blaming the situation on Lex, which to me is crazy because so many people pop it in the club, and regardless to what they say on the mic, if there's no fighting in the club, there should just be no fighting on the club. It should stay like that. At the end of the day, Fauna got physical first. And nobody wants to say that. I don't know why they don't want to say that, but Fauna did get physical first. Lex was provoking her, but that's what they all do. I don't understand why it's becoming an issue now because Lex did it. Lex ultimately owns up for provoking the situation in the club in regards to her saying whatever it was that she said on the mic. Dolly somehow interjects, and Miss Fonsa was like, first of all, I don't even know why you're talking because you did not have nothing to say when Miss Ivory was here. I have my own personal opinions about that. But I mean, if that's how Fauna felt, that's how Fauna felt. Nobody can really tell Fauna how to feel about Dolly interjecting. Rolly basically says, hey, everybody was provoking everybody, which I feel like Rolly has been constantly playing CEO this season, basically doing Natalie's job. But she interjects and says, hey, you need to start punishing people who fight at the club. And I think that Natalie should, because if not, they're just gonna keep doing the same thing. One thing I can say about Jocelyn is I don't watch her show a lot, but the little clips I have seen here and there, one thing she does do well is keep control over there at the cabaret. Like, she don't let them girls play with her at all. So I feel like Rolly is doing Natalie's job, but she's been doing her job basically the whole season. So Natalie basically tells the big three, like, hey, they told me that you guys just threw the drinks randomly, which I'm still not understanding why everybody in this situation is acting like they either weren't there or they're playing blind or skipping over certain parts of the conversation. Why are we acting like we all didn't see this on camera? My issue with Rolly, like, if you're gonna say people need to be penalized for fighting at the club, then in this situation, Fauna needs to be penalized if Fauna's wrong because she's the one that threw the fan first. So Fauna and Lex are up here kind of having like, you know, like a civilized conversation, just trying to understand where their issue is. And here we fucking go. Scotty interjecting in this conversation once again. And this is a shit that irritates me with Scotty. I like Scotty. I think Scotty is a beautiful girl, but she irritates me when she's constantly interjecting, and then when somebody's trying to fight her or come at her, then it becomes like, why do you want to fight me? I'm a pretty girl and I'm too cute. So if you too cute, you need to be quiet because you popping it like you want to fight, and then Want to fight, you want to tell them that you're too pretty to fight. So if you're too pretty to fight, you need to be being quiet. That's how I feel, and stop constantly interjecting. It's just starting to get on my nerves. Like, Lex is just like, bro, please stop talking. I feel like Lex feels like Scotty annoys her when she starts talking because it's like, you don't want to fight. Like, you don't want to fight. You know, you're very protected because you're dating C. It's just like, so then if that's the case, then just sit back and be cool. Why are you always having something to say? Then when it's time to fight, you're like, oh, I don't fight. It's just irritating. And at this point, if Scotty's not going to fight Lex, I just want her to just stop fucking talking to me. It's really starting to get up under my skin. And I can understand why Lex is irritated. Lex, once again, takes accountability or responsibility for the whole situation that happened in the club. Summer interjects and she's like, Fauna, I need to ice my knuckles up, and in the morning I'm gonna need that with you. I'm not interested in seeing them two fight, so they can just pack that up. Lex interjects again and says, you know what, that's all cool and dandy, but I need that from Tavy. I feel like I need that from you. I got an issue with you. I don't like you. Let's fight. You wanted to fight yesterday. Now I want to fight again. Tavy all of a sudden acts like she can't hear. She's like, oh, I'm not fighting you right now. You seem to be really upset. The issue I have with Tavy is this. In the beginning of the season, Tavy came with a whole lot of rah-rah. And it feels like when Lex kind of matched her energy, then all of a sudden she wanted to be passive and cordial and all that extra. And I don't like that. I feel like if you're going to be rah-rah just in general, then you should be okay when someone meets you with that energy. Tavy's like, oh, I don't want to fight because my birthday's coming up. You know, Thanksgiving is coming up. Halloween is soon. And she's just making up all these really weird excuses that I don't understand. It's okay to just be like, bro, you got this. Not fighting you, because I wouldn't fight Lex either. But it makes Tavy look weird because the day prior, after they had a fight, after she asked for the fight, she kept saying, oh, tomorrow we're gonna fight. So now tomorrow comes and she don't want to fight. So she's telling Lex, no, you know, you didn't beat me up. My stomach was hurting. I was drunk. I had something in my eye. Lex is like, you were drunk. Were you drunk all the times that she had to mop you? Like, the excuses with Tavy are really starting to frustrate me. It's clear that Tavy doesn't want to fight. So Natalie and her chin turned to Diamond and she's like, hey, Diamond, I just wanted to let you know that I don't really have an issue with you. Diamond is like, bitch, please. I don't even want to hear that. You don't like me. I don't like you. I don't understand why we keep going back and forth about this conversation either. Natalie doesn't like Diamond. They're just co-workers, and I need this conversation to stop because I just don't care about it. So Natalie does her typical, every episode she does her typical, does anybody want to fight? Not fight, but does anybody have any issues or want to stand on business or blah, blah, blah. Lex is like, listen, bro, I did pop it on the mic. I did provoke her. I started it. And if Fauna wants to finish it, I mean, she can finish it. So Fauna says something that kind of like irritated me a little bit. She was like, is that your idea of a baddie? Is that what we do here? We're just like fighting and X, Y, and Z. But my issue with Fauna is this. No, fighting does not make you a baddie in the real sense of the word. The issue that I have with Fanta is that in the beginning, every altercation her and Lex had came with her putting her hands on Lex first. And I feel like that tends to be a reoccurring theme throughout this season. Lex doesn't really put her hands on anyone first. They put their hands on her first. And then when she's activated and she's on go mode, everybody wants to look at her and go, well, all you do is fight. It's like, no, y'all coming with that energy. And then when she matches the energy, it's, oh, she fights, she's big, she's tall. I'm getting really sick of that shit. So I didn't like that Fauna said that, because does she not know what type of show she's on? Like, not saying the actual Baddies, but yes, Baddies is about fighting, drinking, going to the club, and quote unquote standing on business. I'm just getting tired of everybody like picking and choosing when they want to fight, when they don't want to fight, what a baddie means. Like, at this point, you all know what kind of show you signed up for. So Fanta steps up. I will give her that. Fanta steps up and Lex commences to give her that work. Like, I mean, I'm tired of their fight too. Like, it's very clear that Fonta cannot beat Lex, but Fonta's not scared of anybody. Lex is not scared of anybody. Like, nobody's scared of nobody. We get it. I don't know what ends up happening. I think Lex ends up slamming her on the ground because her entire head, the back of her head was facing Lex, and Lex is just like, just going crazy on her, and they just basically end up breaking up the whole fight. Out of nowhere, K-Rican like body slams Summer. I don't know why she picked Summer out of everyone when everyone was kind of interjecting in the fight, but for whatever reason, she like body slammed Summer on the ground. Diamond the Body is like, y'all, there is everywhere in this field. She's telling them like, do not let that shit touch me, and I absolutely feel Diamond on that. Speaking of shit, Dolly picks up a pile of like fresh horse and fucking throws it directly in Cold Killer's face. Cold Killer, that's how I know like she's just not built like that. Cause when I tell you, I would have sent Dolly to her maker. I'll be like, I don't think y'all know real baddies, cause a bitch would have to die playing with me. But Dolly smashes the horse in her face and just gets to like molly-whopping her all over the field. Now, Dolly, I like you, Dolly, and I understand that Ivory is definitely a big back pit bull in the face, but girl, you absolutely did wait till Ivory left to start fighting. Do I care? No, I don't care, because Ivory was ducking smoke from Lex last season, so I really don't care about that. But we're just gonna call a spade, girl. I still like Dolly, but girl, we're gonna clock that. So after she does this, they all just start going crazy. I'm not gonna lie, Scotty had me dying laughing this entire time. Her little commentary during this little scene with the shit throwing was actually really, really funny. You can see in the confessional, all the girls' faces were like, pow, pow, pow. That was my face, because I didn't know whether to be mortified or to laugh, because the shit was trifling and funny as hell all at the same time. Summer is like, I don't care if we're standing in piles of shit. I want to fight K-Rican right now. Scotty is like, girl, Summer, there's shit all around you. Summer's like, what? What do you mean? Where's the shit? Scotty's like, right there. Don't step in it. Why does Summer pick up a pile of shit and just start throwing it at K-Rican and then commence to beat her ass? That was the craziest part. Getting your ass beat by Summer is definitely a choice. Summer is still on one. She literally starts picking up more horse and throwing it. Now she's throwing it at the security guards. You can see them all running for their lives. Everybody was so disgusted. Lex is in the back dying laughing. And I'm not gonna lie, even though it's horrifying, during this scene, I was laughing from the pits of my soul, because that is just some wild to do. Cold Killer is pissed. She's not pissed enough for me, but she is pissed. She's like, no, where is Dolly at? Scotty is trying to hand people out like saran wrap, trying to pick up the shit. She hands Cold Killer the plastic to pick up the shit. Why does she take her other hand that doesn't have the plastic in it and pick the shit up? Now they're just walking around with shit in their hands, throwing it at each other. K-Rican comes out of nowhere, and I guess she runs up on Summer, gets her ass beat again. I like K-Rican, but I'm gonna need her to stop running up on people because she cannot. In the middle of getting her ass beat, Dolly interjects again and just starts minking her, like mink, mink, like just starts going crazy on her. Dolly must have got an extra pair of hands, because I do find that a little bit suspicious. Dolly's like, I don't care. I don't care that you threw shit on me. She like takes her hand and starts dumping the ice bucket water all over her. I don't know if that's what they do down in Mississippi. I'm from New York. We do not play like that. If somebody would have threw shit on me, I would have lost my mind. But I guess Dolly and Summer just laughed it off. Lex is laughing too, but she's more so like, okay, that's great. But Tavi, if you ever want to run it with me, you know, I'm here, open and welcome whenever you want to run it. K-Rican's head is bleeding. I don't even understand how this happened, but somehow, some way, her head is bleeding. I don't know if Summer did that to her, but that was very suspicious. They must be cutting things out, because a lot of these fights be having injuries that don't add up to the fight that you're actually seeing on the television. Diamond is absolutely mortified about the shit throwing. She just wants to go home. Lex is still like, Tavy, let's get this over with so that way I could ice my hand for the next couple of days and let's just get this out the way. Tavy, all of a sudden, she can't hear. She's deaf. Like, she don't hear Lex at all. She's like, where's Fauna? Lex is like, why are you always reaching for the next girl whenever me and you get into it? I'm calling you. I'm not calling Fauna. I'm calling you. For some reason, Scotty again is like, who is she talking to? Is she talking to me? No, Scotty, she's not talking to you. This is the second time in the span of like a couple of minutes that she keeps interjecting. Lex was just talking to Fauna. She interjected in that conversation. Now Lex is talking to Tavy and she's interjecting again. But this is a that just seriously irritates me because it's constantly inserting and picking and provoking her, and then when she fucking knocks you upside your head, you sitting there looking all crazy. It seems like a cycle with Scotty, and I'm just getting really tired of it. I don't think she should be on this show, honestly, because if she's just too pretty to engage or no one can say her name, why are you even here? You know what I'm saying? So Lex is like, I'm talking to you because clearly you want her to be talking to you. Okay, she's like, you know what? I'm talking to you. If you want to fight, you could come too. Here goes Scotty again. I'm too. And Scotty was absolutely looking very much. But that ain't got nothing to do with the fact that if you're too why are you constantly talking? You do not get to talk shit. And when I'm like, you want to fight? Like, what's up? I'm too pretty to fight. So you need to be pretty and stop talking crazy to people because everyone's not going to put up with that shit. They're going back and forth. Scotty's telling her she's a tomboy and X, Y, and Z. We know that Lex is a tomboy or whatever you want to call her. Who really cares? Y'all both pretty girls. But Scotty's in her confessional and she's like, anything I do, anything I say, Lex wants to check me. I don't think it's anything you do or say. I think it's anything you do or say to her. She's going to check you. If you stop interjecting, she wouldn't have to keep checking you. It's like really simple. So Scotty gets on the bus with Tavy, Fauna, and probably somebody else that I didn't know was on this episode either. And she's like, I'm gonna hit her in her head with this heel. Why did you have to wait to get in the car? Like, you was outside. Scotty and Lex just get up under each other's skin. I don't think it's like a one-sided thing. This conversation goes on for some time. I kind of fast forwarded. So Lex goes up to the car that they're in and she's like, hey Tavy, you want to fight? Like you said yesterday when I get ready that we could fight, so now I'm ready. Like, you ready? Tavy's like, no, you're not gonna break my soul, no one's gonna hold me down. Like, so Lex and Tavy are going back and forth for the third time. This is the third time in this episode that Scotty has once again interjected. Scotty's like, oh, shut up, you need to shut up. Lex is like, see, stop inserting yourself before I punch you in your shit and then you be out here crying. Scotty ends up telling her, my shoes cost more than everything that you have on, and Lex is like very mad. The security is not letting her get to Scotty. She is really pissed. Like, she's so pissed off that she's like starting to get emotional about it. Security's like not letting Lex get to her. Scotty's kind of trolling her. Oh, you're gonna punch me. Out of nowhere, Scotty starts ripping Lex's wig, ripping it on the bus. Tavy is like trying to stop her, like, no, please don't do this. I think that Scotty was in the moment, she was feeling herself, but I think that her ripping that wig is definitely going to be her. Lex is like, this wig costs $1,200. She's watching through the window as they like rip up her wig in the Sprinter and she starts going ballistic. I understand Lex being upset, but I'm still saying, like, why would you bring a $1,200 wig to Baddies, Lex? I love you to death, girl, but that was not smart. So she's getting super emotional about it. Lex is like literally crying tears. I'm like, oh Lord, Lex, don't cry. I really appreciated Dolly in this moment. Dolly was being a really good friend to her. She was trying to make her laugh. I really appreciated Dolly just in this specific moment. We cut back to the Sprinter because for some reason this whole scene's now about them both talking about the other Sprinter in the car. But we're in the Sprinter and Fauna's like, Tavy, Lex is just mad because you beat her. It's like, Fauna, I know you like Tavy, but you don't have to lie to her. If I ever have a friend and I get my beat, you better not look me in my eye and go, oh no, you didn't get your ass beat. Like, Fauna, stop it. We cut from this scene and we kind of move forward to, I guess, the girls showing up to the new house that they have in Kenya. Natalie's having a conversation with Scotty and Rolly, and their gist of the conversation was that the girls are out of hand. There's no type of repercussion. Natalie decided that because they were throwing everywhere and just acting a plumb fool, that they're not gonna go out tonight. She said she canceled the booking and they're just gonna reset and stay in for the night. So the girls finally show up in their Sprinters and they get out. Natalie's letting them know that they're gonna be doing a charity giveaway in one of the villages out there in Kenya and Africa. I thought that was really, really dope. Like a good way to kind of change the mood. But she tells them that Lex is like, Natalie, that's great. Let me just interrupt you for a minute. Who is responsible for this? Referring to her wig. She's like, who's responsible for ripping out my wig? She looks to Cold Killer. Cold Killer looks like she just got caught stealing. Lex is like, did you rip my wig? Because when I had your wig, I didn't rip your wig. Cold Killer's like, I didn't rip your wig. Lex was basically pressing her at this moment. Cold Killer did not have any of that energy. She was like, I didn't rip your wig, I'm sure. So Lex is like, okay, so who ripped my wig? It is crickets. See, and this is the shit I have a problem with. A couple seconds earlier, everybody was on the Sprinter van talking shit. But then when they're in Lex's face and Lex is like, yo, what's up? Nobody want to say nothing. So Lex is like, all right, since nobody wants to say anything, I'm going to run it with everybody. Like, I need it with you. I need it with you. I need it with you. She needs it with the cameraman, the sound man. Like, she needs that with everybody. Natalie's like, no, I understand you're upset, but we're not going to do that right now. Lex literally like turns around and walks away. You could tell she is so pissed off. Lex is still heated. She's like on the verge of crying again. Like, that's how angry she is. In the end, Natalie just introduces a behavioral consultant who I'm guessing is going to be there with them. She tells the girls that when they go to this charity giveaway, they're going to be split up into 2 teams. One team has the big 3, LC, Choco, Russian Cream, and she tells Rolly that she's going to be the leader of their team. The other team has Fanta, Cold Killer, K-Rican, a couple other people I'm forgetting, and she tells Scotty and DTB that they're going to be the leaders of that team. Next week, we get a preview of the celebrity guests, which are supposed to be Tommy and Amber Rose. Let me just make this point. I do find it funny that Amber Rose is on Baddies Africa. They talk all this about the Black community, but they always end up right back over here. So I just wanted to point that out. We get to see some snippets of them at the charity. Like, they're very, very emotional. Diamond the Body's emotional. A lot of them are very emotional. I hope that they do not act up at this charity giveaway. And then we get a fast forward, which is, I'm guessing, the new house in Kenya. It's Tavy's birthday. Diamond the Body's like, hey, what's the issue with Lex? Tavy's like, oh, whenever I see her, it's up. It's like, Tavy, are you sure though? Because yesterday, she needed that from you and you was talking about your stomach hurt. So Tavy, she goes on and off for me. It's really hard to get a feel on her because like her mood switches depending on the day. And then we finally get this infamous pool fight between Lex and Scotty. Lex is walking up to the pool. Lex is so quiet. This is the quietest I've ever seen Lex. You can tell that Lex is very upset. Scotty has the fear of God like all in her face. And Dolly is telling her, like, stop running away. Why are you running away? When you ripped that wig, you knew very well that that was going to be your ass. So hopefully she doesn't walk away. Hopefully she does stand her ground, because if she attempts to walk away, it's really going to piss me off after all this shit she was talking in this episode. Let me know if you guys have any opinions. Put your opinions down below. I'm going to give this season maybe like a couple more episodes to get better. If not, I will not be watching this shit anymore. These filler episodes are killing me, and it's just not, this show is just not piquing my interest. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Put your post notifications on in case I put up any videos. And remember, don't be disrespectful in my comments, because I will curse you the fuck out. Okay? Bye.